Buenos tardes. Hopefully, that's how you say good afternoon in Spanish. I am sitting on my floor. I'm sitting on my legs actually, so hopefully, I don't have to adjust myself. But yeah, I'm going to give people a chance to come into the live. And yeah, then I'm going to start with the message. But let me know if you guys can hear me or not. If you can't hear me, please let me know. Happy Sunday, happy Sunday, happy Sunday, or whatever day you end up watching this. If you're not watching the live, but if you are watching the live, welcome. And if you have just entered the live, leave me a comment, or at the very least, just let me know you can hear me so I can go ahead and start with the message. Because anytime I do these lives, I always feel so awkward in the beginning because I'll be feeling like I'm talking to myself until people start commenting and saying stuff. And on top of that, I just be anxious in general. I don't know why I keep doing this. It's like something won't let me stop. And I know it's probably God. I'm pretty sure God has something to do with it. Because I'll be a nervous wreck. Before I come on live, I'll be a nervous wreck. But for some reason, I keep showing up. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the message. But if you guys can't hear me, please let me know. People expect their life to change without them making a change or without them changing. And I know because I used to be one of those people. I would always wish upon a star and just hope my life would magically change. I always had this victim mentality, and I just felt like some people are just lucky and I'm not. And that's how I lived probably almost 30 years of my life. I'm 32 now. I lived almost 30 years of my life thinking that way. And one of the things that I really used to struggle with was my weight. Believe it or not, I have not always looked like this. I used to be about like 30 to 40 pounds heavier. And I was at the gym, and these girls came up to me the other day and they were like, "Girl, how do you get your body to look like that? Your body is T. What do you do? Give us advice." Because we be in the gym every day and we're not seeing results. And I just laughed because I'm like, y'all don't realize I used to be like 30 to 40 pounds bigger than what I am now. And they were like, "Oh my God, are you serious? Like, what did you do? Like, how did you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've kept most of the weight off for almost a decade. Actually, a little over a decade. I've kept most of that weight off." And I was telling them, believe it or not, I used to be super lazy. I used to be super lazy. On top of that, I used to eat crazy. I used to eat terribly. And when they were saying, like, "Oh, we be in the gym every day, but we're not seeing results," I'm like, I smiled because I was like, 9 times out of 10, it's what y'all are eating. You can be in the gym every day. You can't outwork a bad diet. And they looked at each other and they were like, "She's right. Yeah, we was just at McDonald's earlier." And I was like, "See, that's the problem. Y'all can be in the gym every single day. And don't get me wrong, it's good. It's good that they're going to the gym because that shows that they're making some effort. But you're not going to see no results if you're still eating crazy." And they were asking me, like, "Well, how, like, what made you change your mentality? Because it's easy for me to come work out every day, but it's hard for me to eat healthy." That's what they were telling me. And I'm like, I know, like, I've been there before, trust me. It's not easy, but once you get to a point where you don't play about you, once you get to a point where you really value yourself and you're like, you know what? I'm worthy of more and I'm capable of more. So you know what? I'm going to change my life. I'm going to change my habits. Because if I don't, I'm going to still be bitching about the fact that, oh, I have love handles. My stomach looks like I'm 4 months pregnant. My arms are big. Oh, I'm insecure when people take pictures of me. I got to suck my stomach in. That's how I used to be. But once I got to a point where I was sick and tired, I was sick and tired of looking at myself and wondering if I was pregnant. Because my belly used to like stick out so much and I would constantly have to suck it in. And there was even a point in time, I'm gonna be real, like I don't care, I'm gonna just go ahead and expose myself. There was a point in time I used to always suck my stomach in. Always. So I didn't realize how big my stomach was. Then one day I walked past the mirror butt naked. And for once, I wasn't sticking my stomach in. I wasn't sticking my stomach in. And when I looked at my stomach, I was like, yo, am I pregnant? Because at the time, I was, I was active. I'm not now, I'm abstinent. But back then, I was active. So I'm like, am I pregnant? So I took a damn pregnancy test. I took a damn pregnancy test because I was like, yo, there's no way my stomach just got this big out of nowhere. Girl, it didn't get big out of nowhere. It's been big. You just constantly sucking it in. So yeah, once I realized I wasn't pregnant, I'm like, oh no, I need to lose some weight. But I was telling them, I just got to a point where I was sick and tired. I was sick and tired of not feeling confident in myself, not being able to wear what I really wanted to wear. Now that I'm smaller and I have like a flat stomach or whatever, I ain't gonna lie, I be showing my stomach all the time. 90% of my tops are like crop tops. But it's because I know I worked hard to get to this point. But the crazy thing is, I never thought that I would get to this point when I was bigger. There would be times where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna work out and I'm gonna go on a diet, but I would never stick to it. I would never stick to it. I would always give up. But once I got to a point where I was like, no, I'm sick and tired. Ain't nothing gonna change unless I change. I'm not gonna magically get my dream body if I don't make some changes. So I was explaining all this to them, and I was even telling them me losing weight wasn't just superficial. My nana died when she was 51. Guess what? She was skinny as hell. She always was slim all her life. That was her nickname. Her nickname was Slim. So she was naturally skinny. But guess what? She did not eat healthy and she didn't work out. She did not take care of herself. So no wonder she died at 51. She died of heart failure. And she used to smoke cigarettes too. So yeah, that was another thing that motivated me to finally change my ways. Because I want to say when I was like 19, I was like 170 pounds. 170 pounds. That was the biggest I ever was. And when I was 170 pounds, I used to always feel tired. I used to always feel fatigued. And I'm like, yo, why am I 19 years old feeling like I'm 50? Like, I would be constantly taking naps throughout the day. I never take naps now. I'm 32 and I never have to take a nap. It's rare for me to take a nap throughout the day because I have way more energy. And the reason why I have more energy is because I take care of myself. But yeah, I was like, yo, why am I this young feeling this old? Like, I thought I had some type of disease. Swear to God. I'm like, do I have diabetes? Do I have like, I didn't know what it was. And when I went to the doctors, they're like, no, everything came back healthy. Like, all your tests came back great. And I'm like, well, why don't I feel great? Oh, I finally figured out. It's because of what I was eating. It's because of the fact that I wasn't active. I wasn't working out. Like I said, I used to be lazy as hell. Believe it or And it's so crazy because now I'm the complete opposite. But that brings me to my point. Nothing will change until you change. And that's what I had to realize. When I look at myself now, I'm like, yo, if 20-year-old Kyla, 19-year-old Kyla knew that you were going to turn into this, she would be amazed. But ironically, now that now that I am the woman I am now, I'm like, I want to be better. I want my body to be even more muscular. I want my body to be even more toned. But I think that's good because I think it shows that you're not complacent. It shows you always want to better yourself. But at the same time, I ain't gonna lie, I can be a little hard on myself. Ooh, I'm gonna have to adjust my seating, my sitting situation will arise. I'm so sorry, y'all. I gotta adjust myself. Thank God I got pants on today. So y'all ain't gonna see my goodies. Okay. Let me adjust myself. Hi guys. Oh my God, there's so many people in the chat. I feel so bad. I haven't said anything to anybody. Hi guys. Thank you so much for watching. Oh my God, there's so many comments. I don't even know who to respond to. Hi from Texas. Hi, Texas. Very beautiful. Fantastic. Italy. Oh my God. That's funny because I'm a quarter Italian. That's so funny. It's so fun reading these. It's so fun reading you guys. I don't know who to reply to though. It's so many. Yeesh, I never get this many. I never get this many people watching my videos. So yeah, I'm a little surprised. That's really why I don't be responding to the chat because it only be like maybe like 5 or 6 people in the chat. But yeah, welcome. And somebody asks, what's wrong with your voice? If you're new here, I have an anxiety disorder. 1 second. Ooh, I need to take a breath. But yeah, I have. Oh, excuse me. It's like as soon as I wanted to try to talk about it, my voice was like. But anyways, back to the question. Somebody asks, "What's wrong with your voice?" I have an anxiety disorder. Ever since I was a little kid, my voice has always been shaky. My voice always shakes and cracks ever since I was a little kid. And people used to make fun of me. So yeah, if that answers your question. And the crazy thing is, it's not like that all the time, but a lot of times if I'm anxious, and like I said, anytime I come on these lives, I'll be anxious. That's why I'm like, Lord, why did you give me this purpose? Why do I have this strong desire to preach and teach when I don't feel like I have the voice? But here we are. Here we are. Okay. Let me get myself together. My voice is so dry because I've been talking so much. But yeah, another thing I used to struggle with is stage fright, which probably isn't surprising considering, what I just told y'all. But for those of you that don't know, I also sing. And I used to have really bad stage fright. And I just had this burning desire to sing. Ever since I was a little girl, I loved to sing. But at the same time, I would be terrified to sing. I would be so terrified. And I'm sure that has something to do with the anxiety disorder. But I would always just pray that it would just magically go away. I would just always hope Maybe I'll just magically get over it one day, but then I realize you're never going to get over it until you face it. So I started going to open mic nights every Friday, every week. And I'll never forget the first open mic night I went to that I sang at. I was terrified. I was literally shaking. Literally, I was up there holding the mic and I was just like, and I had my eyes closed the whole time. I was like, it's so funny now, but I was so devastated. And when I was singing, my voice was shaking so bad. And I was singing in a completely different pitch. And the whole time I was singing, the whole time I was singing, I was thinking to myself, I pray that this performance like is over as soon as possible so I can run off this stage. The whole time I was singing, I'm like, I can't wait for this to be over. I can't wait for this to be over. I'm up there singing like in my mind, I'm like, I can't wait for this to be over. But as soon as it was over, even though I felt embarrassed as hell, a part of me was like, I want to go back up. I want to go back up again. And even after that first time being so terrible, I kept going every week, every single week, faithfully. And slowly but surely, I got better. I got more comfortable. People would even like compliment me after, like, oh, you have a beautiful voice. I love your tone. I'm like, really? Me? And me praying and hoping it would just magically go away. That's how a lot of people are. They just pray that things will just magically change. Life will just magically turn around in their favor. Don't get me wrong. There is a such thing as miracles. However, God ain't gonna just hand everything to you on a silver platter. And that's one of the things that I had to realize. And I'm gonna be real. There would be times I would leave open mic night crying my eyes out because I felt so embarrassed. There would be times where I was making so much progress and then I would randomly have a really bad performance and I would just leave crying and I would just be like, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep embarrassing myself? But similar to how I am with my YouTube, something in me just would not let me quit. It would not let me stop. Then I got to a point where I finally put out music because that was another thing I was terrified to do. And I finally put out music. I finally started making music videos. And by the way, I was terrified throughout all this. But even though I was terrified, I was more terrified of the regret of not doing it. Anytime I would be scared to perform, I would be like, okay, let's say you just stop altogether. Let's say you never sing again, you never perform again. Anytime I would entertain that thought, it would devastate me. It would kill me. So that's why I was like, fuck that. I'm gonna keep going. I don't know why I keep doing this, but I'm gonna keep doing it. So it's like, if you really want something in life, whatever it is, if you really desire it, even when your logical mind tells you that's not possible, you're not good enough, you're not equipped, you're not qualified, you don't have the resources. If something in you keeps pulling you to that, you have to follow that, no matter how scared you are. And I know change is scary, especially when you have to initiate the change. It's scary, but you know what's even scarier than not changing? You know what's even scarier than change is not changing. Just think about if you never take that leap, if you never put yourself out there, if you never try. Think about how sad you'll feel when you get old. There's so many old people I've talked throughout my life, and a lot of times they have regrets. They have regrets not because they did something, but because they didn't do something. I've talked to so many old people that will say like, "Oh, I wish I would have did this when I was younger. I wish I would have tried this. I wish I would have." I refuse to be one of those old people. I don't know about y'all, but I refuse to be one of those old people. I'm not dying old or growing old with regrets. I mean, I said I'm not dying old. Hopefully I die very, very old. But y'all get what I'm trying to say? I'm not trying to die with regrets. And I'm not trying to grow old with regrets either. And like I said, trust me, I am the scariest person you will ever meet. And when I say I'm scary, I'm not saying I scare other people. I'll be scared. That's what I mean by I'm the scariest person. Is like I'm the most scared person you will ever meet, but I'm probably the most courageous. I'm probably the most courageous because, like I said, somebody in the chat was like, "What's wrong with your voice?" You know how many times I've gotten that question throughout my life? You know how many times people have made fun of me, not realizing it's like, bruh, it's not something I can control. Like it's literally because I have a disorder. But even so, I still have the courage to come on here, shaky voice and all, and share whatever messages God gives me to share. And that's the approach I want you to have when it comes to your life. Because I don't want you to die old with regrets, just like I don't want to die old with regrets. Even things like me moving out of my hometown. I'm from a small town in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. Oh Lord Jesus, my voice was about to give out. Yeah, I'm from a small town in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. And even though I love my hometown, no disrespect to my hometown, even though I love my hometown, I ain't gonna lie. Ever since I was a teenager, I always wanted to leave. I always, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I can't see myself living here for the rest of my life. I don't want to live here for the rest of my life. I feel like there's more out there for me. No disrespect to my hometown, but I don't know. I just felt like my hometown was too small for me. And ever since I was a little kid, I would wish I lived in Atlanta. The few times I went to Atlanta as a kid, I would always have this thought anytime it was time for us to leave. I would be like, man, I wish we lived here. I wish I was from Atlanta. Like, and I always had that thought in the back of my mind. But as I got older, as I became an adult and life started lifing, I'm I was like, that's never gonna happen. You're never gonna be able to afford to live in Atlanta because the cost of Atlanta is a lot higher than Columbus, Ohio. I think it is. I don't know how it is now with inflation and everything that's been going on. Maybe it's not too far off. But me knowing the rent I was paying prior to me moving here is a significant difference. And like I said, I was always afraid to move. And again, I would just always hope and pray somehow I'll magically be able to, leave my hometown. I was always hoping and waiting for the right circumstances. And then I realized, Kyla, if you don't leave now, because you've been making excuses forever, if you don't leave now, you're probably never going to leave. That's it. It finally got to a point where I'm like, look, ain't nobody about to just magically move you to Atlanta or a different city or a different state. You're going to have to make that move. You're going to have to take that leap. And I'm not going to lie. My hometown is, things were a lot easier. I'm going to just be real. Things were a lot easier and comfortable in my hometown. But that was the problem. That was the problem. Deep down, I knew if I never left, I would never, I knew that I had to leave. And I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, who I am now, I don't feel like I would be this person if I would have stayed in my hometown. Because living here in Atlanta, I've been completely out of my comfort zone. I don't have my support system. I don't really have friends. Like, I'm an introvert, so I spend a lot of time by myself. And I'm not gonna lie, even though I made the decision, I was still terrified. Every step of the way, I was terrified. Even before I moved, I was terrified. There would be even times I'm like, Lord, let me know if you don't want me to move. Like, if you don't want me to move, give me a sign that I should stay. Because secretly, I was hoping God would bail me out. Because I was scared. But He would just keep giving me signs to move to Atlanta. And I'm just like, Lord, I prayed so much. I'm like, Lord, is this you? Is this you or is this the devil? Like, there was so many times. And there were so many times certain things happen where I'm like, I don't see how this is going to happen. Like, I don't see how I'm going to make this happen. But guess what? I didn't make it happen. God made it happen. God made it happen. I had to take the leap, but He made the way. And He's been providing for me, even through the wilderness. He's still been providing me with manna. And I haven't worked a 9 to 5 in over 5 years. I haven't worked a 9 to 5 in over 5 years. And I pray I never have to go back. I pray, Lord Jesus, I never have to go back. But even through the wilderness, because that's one thing, I ain't gonna lie, God tricked me. He didn't trick me because he gave me hints like, hey, I know you think you about to move to Atlanta and everything's about to just be like, oh, I'm about to be lit, it's about to be popping, I'm about to get on, blah, blah, blah. Even though that's what you're thinking, you actually about to be in the wilderness. You're not moving to Atlanta so you can just live this lavish life and just, you eventually gonna get there, but nah, you moving to Atlanta is you stepping into the wilderness. And even though a part of me is like, you tricked me, God, He actually didn't trick me. Because before I moved to Atlanta, on one of my road trips from Atlanta back to Columbus, before I moved down here, I drove down here to visit. Oh, I need water. I'm losing my voice. But yeah, like I was saying, before I moved down here, I drove down here to visit. And when I was driving back to Columbus, I was almost out of gas. And I was just praying because it was like 10 or 11 o'clock at night and I was by myself. Mind you, I'm a woman driving by herself late at night on a freeway, almost out of gas. So I was driving and it was no exits for a long time. And I'm like, Lord, you know I'm on E, like, hook a sister up. I need some gas. So I'm driving, I'm just praying. I'm like, Lord, please let there be an exit coming up soon. And I finally see an exit. So I get off on an exit. And I don't know why, something just told me to look up. Guess what the name of the street was? Wilderness Road. I can't make this shit up. Wilderness Road. And as soon as I saw that, I started laughing. Because I'm like, oh, the wilderness. I was thinking about the wilderness in the Bible, the wilderness season or whatever. Not realizing that was God's way of telling me, you moving to Atlanta, you're actually about to be in the wilderness. So I'm like, dang it, you tricked me. But at the same time, you gave me a warning, but I was just like, oh, the wilderness. Oh, everything is so spiritual. But yeah, moving to Atlanta has required me to trust God like I never have before. And like I said, I've been afraid every step of the way. But still, even though I be afraid, I be terrified. I don't know how, but I just have courage. I have so much courage. And I'm sure God has something to do with that. But I know a lot of people don't have that. But I feel like everybody can have that. It's really just a matter of choosing, deciding, you know what? Yes, even though I'm scared as fuck, I'ma still do it anyway. Because I'm more scared of things never changing. I'm more scared of things never changing than me making a change. That's how you have to think about things. Even who I am overall as a person is completely different than who I used to be. Believe it or not. Even though I still have an anxiety disorder, believe it or not, my anxiety used to be 10 times worse. 10 times worse. I used to have panic attacks all the time. I used to constantly overthink everything. I would like constantly have catastrophic thinking, worst case scenario, doom and gloom. And I used to have low self esteem too, very low self esteem. Like when I tell y'all I was a completely different person, it's literally like day and night. The only thing, some elements of me are still the same. Like I'm still very goofy. I'm still very goofy. I've always been free spirited and but who I am, my mentality, how I think, even how I view myself is completely different. And certain things that didn't just magically happen. I didn't just magically become a different person. I had to put in the work. I had to make some changes. Some of the things that I did that helped me pretty much change my mindset. Meditation. To this day, I still meditate every single day for the past probably like 3 years. For the past 3 years, I've been meditating every single day, saying affirmations. I have so many. One of my affirmations is I love my voice and I love hearing myself speak. Why? Because that is my biggest insecurity is my voice. But guess what? I'm not just going to accept that as, I hate my voice. Oh, no, I'm going to speak life into myself. So I love my voice and I love hearing myself speak. Even me just giving myself motivational speeches. I'll be giving myself motivational speeches every day in the mirror. I look at myself and I speak life into myself. Even the type of things that I listen to a lot of positive audio. And what I mean by positive audio is I listen to a lot of positive stuff on YouTube, positive podcasts, things that talk about the spiritual realm, things that talk about the mindset, things that talk about pretty much self improvement and personal growth. I'm constantly listening to that type of stuff all day, every day. You like really have to reprogram your mind. Because think about it. Most of us have been programmed negatively from birth, from our childhood. Most of us have been negatively programmed. So once you become an adult, you have to really work hard to reprogram yourself in a positive way and brainwash yourself in a positive way. Yes. I'm sorry for my voice. I'm sorry for yelling at you guys. It's like I'll be losing my voice, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep going. But yes, if this message spoke to you in any way, if it helped you in any way, please make sure you like it. Let me take this off the ring light. But yes, please make sure you like it and please make sure you're subscribed. I lost my voice now. This always happens towards the end of the live. But I love you guys and see you soon. Bye.